Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life for riches, huh? That life for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glitzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing back at you again. Today's topic, we're going to take a look at what's going on with Errol Spence and his eye injury. So there's been a lot of, information out there in the news lately that Errol Spence is back and that he is basically recovered, quote unquote, from his eye injury. So, we're taking a look at this and we're trying to see whether this is just hyperbole or, is his eye actually healing? As we're hearing, I mean, is it just, wishful thinking? People just, hyping it up, or is this the real deal? So, but we're hearing that from his Instagram account that is, he's back supposedly. So I mean, but in terms of him being back, what they mean by he's back? I mean, is he back in training? What exactly is he doing? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to, chop that up and see what it's all about. So as you all know, Errol Spence injured his eye several weeks now. Prior to that fight between him and Manny Pacquiao, which ended up, the fight ended up being, Spence ended up was replaced by Dennis Ugas, and he ended up not fighting that fight because of his eye injury. So he had to withdraw. Now that was several weeks ago, and I've seen eye injuries prior to this. I've heard of different fighters having eye injuries, and the detached retina is a serious injury that had many fighters had to retire from that. And there was a concern when it was announced that Errol Spence had an injury to his retina, that here we go again. That this could possibly be a career-ending injury. Okay, and people were worried about Errol Spence, but it looks like there was no need to worry because Errol Spence is saying that he's back. So we don't know if he's actually back, or he's back training, or what exactly is he back doing? Because again, eye injury is no joke, especially at detached retina. So, now when they first announced that Errol Spence, had an eye injury and that he wouldn't be able to make the Manny Pacquiao fight, many people, suspected, some kind of foul play, or they suspected that Errol Spence was faking the injury or something to that effect. I mean, Bernard Hopkins came out and said he thought that there was something funny going on with that. That he was the most prominent person that spoke about it. Other people spoke about it. A lot of them didn't really speak about it on the record, though. Okay, but there was rumors and whispers going around about that possibility. Now, I didn't put too much credence in any of that stuff because I just didn't see where that would benefit Errol Spence to fake an injury in the most, one of the most, probably the most important fight of his career. So I wasn't really buying it. Okay, I mean, even though I can criticize Errol Spence for a lot of things. I criticize him for ducking, but I don't think that he would have faked an injury. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, really. But since now we are hearing that Errol Spence is back. Now I'm wondering. Now that makes me wonder. I'm not saying that that makes me think he faked the injury, but I put it out there because a lot of people was concerned about that. Okay, so at this point, I don't see any real reason for me to change my opinion about the whole thing. At this point, I should say, so far. But I mean, it is a little bit surprising, to say the least, that he's back already. If this is accurate, what we're hearing, that Errol Spence is back. I mean, I've seen it reported in several different outlets and venues so far. So I mean, with a detached retina that you have to do surgery on to reattach the retina, how could he be back already? I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, but I don't know. So let's take a look. I mean, now the questions I've been asked, like, well, how could he be back so quick? That was is this a miracle or what? But let's take a look at what a retina detachment actually is. Okay, so that way we can have an idea. Let's take a quick look and see what we can find out about a detached retina, and then we can take it from there. All right. So okay, so let's see. So here, let's see. It says after surgery for a retinal detachment, immediately after the operation, you can expect immediately after the operation. The eye will be covered with an iPad. Okay, his eye will covered with an iPad. You may need to stay in the hospital overnight, occasionally longer. We don't know if that happened, but probably not. Now, during the post-operative period, according to what they're saying here, you may be uncomfortable for several weeks, particularly if a scleral buckle has been used. We don't know if that was used, a scleral buckle, so I can't really say about that. But your vision will be blurry. It may take some weeks or even 3 to 6 months for your vision to improve. Whoa, hold that right there. So let's see that again. Okay, your vision will be blurry. Okay, and it may take some weeks or even 3 to 6 months for your vision to improve. So it's been barely a month now, not much more than 2 weeks actually since Errol Spence got his eye injury. So since he had the surgery, so he's back already. And here it is saying that it may take some weeks. So it's been weeks. We know that much. But here it says, or even 3 to 6 months for your vision to months. And that's just we're just talking about a regular person who had a retinal tear. This is not like an athlete like Errol Spence who have to go in the ring and spar and fight and do all that with that retina. So I don't really see how Errol Spence could be back so fast and ready to spar and do whatever he needs to do with for boxing, with such a serious injury that he allegedly had. So it's a little bit confusing. But let's go on. So he says here, your eye may water. Expect gritty feeling on the surface of your eye if stitches has been used. Avoid rubbing or pressing on the eye. You may need to wear an eye pad for protection at night while your eye is healing. Make sure to follow all directions for medication such as eye drops. Avoid vigorous activity for some weeks following surgery. Obey all. Let's go back to that one. Avoid vigorous activity for some weeks following surgery. So now, what's our vigorous activity for every person? Probably like running, walking a lot, basketball, maybe whatever, exercise. But Errol Spence, he jogs. He does. Probably going to be doing sport. So I mean, is he ready to actually go into his exercises and his training now, so soon after such a serious surgery? I don't know. So so this is this is extremely serious situation here we're looking at, and you know, uh, now is it a case of where Errol Spence is rushing back, too soon because he might think that the events are moving fast in the welterweight division and opportunities are passing him by, and so he's trying to rush back. Maybe, but I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case, because I mean there's no need for Errol Spence to rush back. I mean, hopefully he's not just rushing back because he figured that he's getting left behind in the welterweight and he want to he would see fights happening and maybe thinking that he's going to get left out. But if I was him, I would err on the side of caution, and as your eye is serious business. And as a boxer, it's even more serious business. So if Errol Spence should be rushing, if that's the case, I don't know if that's the case. I'm just wondering because again, he says he's back. So I'm just thinking if he's rushing back too soon, that's very dangerous, and he shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? He should just take his time and let the injury heal. Let it get fully healed, okay, and then come back. So hopefully this is not a situation where Errol Spence is just rushing back. I mean, I would be concerned if I was his trainer or if I was in his team, in this situation, of him coming back so soon. I wouldn't recommend that he come back that soon. I mean, unless, there's something that we don't know about, I mean? Maybe the injury wasn't as serious as we thought it was. Who knows? I mean, that's a possibility as well. And like some people might say there was no injury, and I'm not going to go that far to say it because I don't know. I'm only speculating. I couldn't tell if he had an injury or not. I wasn't there. I don't know. But the fact that a lot of people didn't believe that he had an injury and that he just did that to get out of the fight, and then right at an injury that was supposed to sideline him for maybe like up to months, and in less than a month he's back. And social media saying I'm back. I mean, that's just fuel for the fire. Really, people are gonna start thinking like, wow, how can your eye heal that quickly? I mean, should you be training now in under these circumstances? If after such a serious surgery, it's something that can probably cause your vision. So it could be a lot of different factors, in this situation with Errol Spence. Like I said, it could be. I mean, it could be the fact that he's just trying to get back soon, and because he thinks that he's going to miss out on something or whatever, or maybe it's a possibility that the eye injury wasn't as serious as most people thought. Okay, and we can go all the way to the extreme of maybe there was no injury at all. I mean, I'm not saying there was no injury, but there are people that were saying that. So, when we take a look at what's really going on right now. It begs a few questions, but that's what's happening. I mean, Errol Spence is all over social media saying that he's back, less than a month after eye surgery for a detached retina, and we just saw it just now here where it says that a detached retina could take 3 to 6 months, and that's just to get your vision back correctly, for your vision to get better, not for the thing to be totally healed. Okay, so according to what I'm reading here, so I guess that depends on how serious the surgery was or how serious the injury was. So we don't really know how serious the injury was. I mean, but from what we have heard so far, it seems to have been a serious injury. They had to do surgery, immediate surgery. Okay, so for me, it's kind of strange that he's back already, and especially with such a delicate injury as that, and it looks a little bit weird to me. I mean, it just seems, I don't know if anybody else, think the same thing, but okay, let's see what the people are saying. So Tyrese, you're saying that let me see what he says here. Back drinking. I had a blood vessel erupted in my eye that vision and depth perception takes a minute to come back. Okay, and that was just a blood vessel rupture, not a surgery on your eye. So I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's see. Tyrese again said injury supposedly occurred with headgear. Is telling. Okay, so it was a headgear injury. It wasn't somebody that injured the eye directly. Is that what you're saying? That somebody, Tyrese, somebody didn't punch him in the eye, or I mean, how did he get injured with the headgear? How did it happen with the headgear? Well, so back drinking. So Errol Spence is back supposedly. Now again, that's kind of strange to be back that fast, barely 2 weeks after you got surgery on a serious eye injury like that. And people are going to wonder about that. I'm wondering about it because, I mean, we got to look at this logically. I mean, either the injury wasn't as serious as we thought it was, okay, or even the injury wasn't as serious as we thought it was. Even and we have some people saying that there was no injury at all. And if the injury was as serious as we thought it was, how could he be back so quick? It doesn't make any sense. It's not making much sense to me at all. So to be back again so soon after such a serious injury that ended our people's career. So, I mean, even there's a miracle going on here, or Errol Spence is the luckiest guy in the world, or he got the healing factor like the Wolverine or something. I don't know. So we can look at all the different possibilities, and go from there. But again, I just, if we take a look at what the what they have here in the about retinal detachment, we see here again. Let's see long-term outlook for long-term outlook. In most special centers around 9 out of 10 retinal detachment are successfully repaired with a single operation. In the remaining cases, the retina redetaches and needs another operation. The final success rate is over 90%, 95%. Whether or not your vision returns depend not only on the success or failure of the operation, but also the duration, extent, and location of the detachment. For example, if the macula, the part of the retina responsible for central vision, is detached, it is unlikely that full vision will ever return, even if the operation is successful. So there you go. So there's a lot of questions we need to ask about this operation with Errol Spence. There's a lot of questions that needs to be answered, and I'm going to be looking into this to see exactly what type of operation he actually had. So that's a serious situation. That's a serious prognosis right there. I mean, for the long-term prognosis, So here we go. Some possible complications. Risk and complications depend on the procedure used, but it can include cataract formation, loss of clarity of the lens of the eye, glaucoma, raised pressure in the eye, infection, hemorrhage, bleeding into the vitreous cavity, vision loss of the eye through which modern surgical techniques. This is a very unlikely outcome. Although it's an unlikely outcome from the actually lose the eye, but they're saying there's a lot of possibilities for things to happen here. And remember, we're not talking about an athlete, in describing this. We're talking about a regular person. But Spence is not a regular person. He's an athlete, a highly tuned athlete at that. He's an elite athlete. So that means that, now that would mean physically he's better conditioned than the average person. That's one thing. But, the type of work that he's doing as an athlete, is very dangerous to this type of injury. So, it's a very serious thing. So we got to find out which actual surgery got done on him, because they have operative procedures here that they describe, and one is called pneumatic retinopexy, which is the simplest procedure according to this here. Then you have scleral buckling. The retinal tear is treated with cryotherapy. The fluid under the retina drained and a special shaped piece of silicone rubber sutured to the sclera or outer wall of the eye. The silicone creates an indent which pushes the eye wall back into the retina. The scleral buckle remains in place indefinitely unless complications arises. So if he had scleral buckling, then he has something in his eye that's going to be there permanently. It has to stay there like like some metal they put you if you break a bone or something. So that's one thing. Then they have there's another one they call vitrectomy surgery. Under an operating microscope, the vitreous is surgically removed using a fine instrument. Any tears are treated with laser or cryotherapy, and the eye is filled up with gas or silicone oil. Once again, it is important to follow instructions regarding post-operative head positioning in order to allow the retina to slide down. People who have had a vitrectomy surgery will experience temporary poor vision while the eye is filled with gas, and it is replaced with the eye's own clear fluid. If silicone oil is used, it does not dissolve by itself, and further surgery is usually necessary after a few months. So those are the two serious ones, the scleral buckling and the vitrectomy surgery. Then we have the pneumatic retinoplex, which is the simplest procedure. So hopefully it's the simplest procedure that Errol Spence had, but if it's not the simplest procedure, there's no way his eye could be healed already. I mean, if he had any of those other two, procedures, but let's see what it says. Let's read this retinoplexy completely. It says, this is the simplest procedure for repair for detachment, but it's not suitable for all cases. The retinal surgeon injects a gas bubble into the vitreous cavity and treats the tear with either a laser or cryotherapy. So in all three cases, they're using laser and cryotherapy. So the bubble presses the retina flat against the wall of the eye, and the laser or freezing sticks the retina down. In order for the retina to remain in place after surgery, it is important to follow the surgeon's instructions on post-operative head positioning. This gas gradually disappears over the days or weeks following the surgery. So this is so even the simplest surgery is very technical and it's not as simple as it looks. Okay, so even if Errol Spence had the easiest or the simplest procedure, okay, it would be a miracle for him to be back right now. I'm ready to train. There's no way he should be talking about training right now, based on what I'm reading here about what the surgery is all about. And we just read the simplest one. So I don't know how he could be back and could actually be training already. And if he is back, he should stop immediately and not train anymore, because it could be very dangerous to his eye. Okay. And that's what I'm seeing here. So, the fact that Spence is back already, according to him, is probably just wishful thinking. I hope he's not rushing back just because he feels like he's missing out on something. You know what I mean? He should just take it easy and make sure his eye, heals completely. What's going to happen in the middle in the welterweight is going to happen whether he's there or not. So it's like things are moving. And I understand, he's probably feeling that, he's getting left behind and he don't have really a lot of time to waste. And he's not exactly, a young man anymore. So I understand the urgency, but, I would think his eye is more important, based on the injury that he had. And like I said, that injury had retired many people before in this boxing game. So I don't really see how Errol Spence is back already. But, we'll see. Hopefully, maybe he's a fast healer. Or this is some kind of a miracle, and a miracle healing or something, and he's just just like that. Who knows? But from what I'm seeing here, it's a serious situation. So if he's back, we'll see if he's if he's going to start training now, or if he actually started training already. And again, but this is going to bring up the problem of how quickly he recovered. And how he could have recovered from such a serious injury and such a serious surgery, based on what we just read, and y'all just heard me read it. How can he be back so quick? Based on that, I mean, even the simplest procedure, even if it was the simplest procedure they did in the surgery, Errol Spence didn't be back for at least a couple of months. Okay, so how could he be back already? Unless the eye wasn't that serious, the injury wasn't that serious to begin with, So who knows? Nobody knows. But I guess we'll find out eventually. We'll see what happens if he comes back and if he, if he can actually continue with his boxing career without any, problems. So we gotta see how it turns out in the end. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, Errol Spence is back according to the social media. He's back and he's ready, according to him, and he's ready to go supposedly. So how he can be back so quick again, that's a wonder to me. To me it's an amazing event. I mean, for him to be back already. But again, maybe he's feeling a little bit insecure about his position in the welterweight, and he want to run back as soon as possible because he feel that he's getting left behind. But if I was him, I would err on the side of caution and take it easy. But we'll see what's going to happen. Let's see what's happening. I mean, we all know that they're starting some kind of a tournament, for the welterweights with audience Ugas. So if Errol Spence is coming back to fight Ugas, that might not happen. But we don't know because supposedly, unification, trumps mandatory. But we don't even know what's going on with WBA nowadays with all this new stuff that they're dealing with. And, they talk about them changing up and going to one champion and this and that. So whatever, maybe this is all part of that. We don't know what's going on with them, but, we'll see how it turns out because Ugas is going to be fighting in this tournament supposedly. Or he might decide to just fight Crawford or Spence. I don't know. Or Manny Pacquiao. Because Manny Pacquiao saying he want a rematch. But now we hear Manny Pacquiao winning for president, so we don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Captain Full. Also, winner of Crawford or Porter. No excuses. Yeah, well, come on. Listen, Captain Full. We've been saying that for 3 years now, okay? No excuses, but I would be hearing excuses from Errol Spence about Crawford. So I don't expect, anything to change in that regard, okay? And like I said, and I'm going to say it here again, and I've always said it, the only way we're going to get Errol Spence into the ring with Crawford is to drag him in there against his will. It's not going to happen voluntarily, okay? And, now we've been hearing a lot of excuses from Spence about fighting Crawford, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Okay. As a matter of fact, if Crawford stopped Porter, you can guarantee that this fight is not going to happen between him and Spence, between Crawford and Spence. Put money on it. If Crawford beats Porter, the fight with Spence is not going to happen. Okay, as much as I would like to see it, but just imagine if Crawford stops Porter like he did Book. All right, let's just say Crawford stops Porter in 4 rounds or in 5 rounds or in 3 rounds like he did Book. You think Spence is going to get in there with Crawford? Think about that for a minute, okay? Believe you me, if Crawford Anyhow, yeah, well, it's not that they keep it. Well, they're not keeping undisputed hostage. Errol Spence is keeping undisputed hostage. Just like he's keeping the welterweight, he's holding those 2 belts hostage because he's not going to go after Crawford's belt. And I'm going to tell you guys something, I keep saying this. Errol Spence is not going after Derrick James said that they want the 3 belts. Okay? They don't want Crawford's belt. They wanted the 3 belts. Once Errol Spence get the WBA belt, if he gets it, he's just gonna say, "Oh, he's gonna be like Teofimo. I'm undisputed." They might even give him a franchise belt. You know what I mean? He's gonna say, they might get a PBC belt or something. But he's gonna say, "I'm undisputed with the 3 belts." He's not gonna go after the 4th belt, just like you see Teofimo doing. Walking around with 3 belts and a French fries belt, talking about he's undisputed. So And I'm, a lot of people might not believe what I'm telling them, but that's what Derek James himself said. I have the video and I've played it many times. Okay, he said they want the 3 belts, and that the legacy, that Errol Spence's legacy, don't depend on fighting Terence Crawford. Okay, that's what Derek James said. Okay, so when you have your trainer coming out making excuses for why the fight is not going to happen, then that's usually means the fight ain't going to happen. And so see. They keep undisputed. Yeah, they're keeping it hostage. What else does Spence have? We don't know. But if he does go back in the ring and does fight Crawford, people are going to say that he was damaged goods. So I mean, it's a shame. That we at this situation now where Errol Spence probably would never. We don't know how this eye is gonna come. We have once it's okay to say he's back now, but he has to get in that ring and train and spar, and so we don't know how that's gonna go with the eye. So there's no guarantee even now. So we have to wait and see how this is all gonna shape out in the end. Because just because Errol Spence is saying his eye is better and he's back, he could be just saying that for political reasons. Because again, he might stuff, things are moving fast in the welterweight division now that he's not around, more or less. And so maybe he doesn't want to get left behind. And so he's just saying that, but regardless of what he's saying, the eye is going to be tested in sparring. It's going to be tested in training, when he's training and running, jogging, sparring, any kind of physical activity, his eye is going to be tested. And if his eye was really injured, like we have heard, then I don't see how he's going to be ready to do anything anytime soon. He's going to need months. If he ever actually fully recovers, it's going to take months. Okay, so we just read what they said about retinal tear. It takes 3 to 6 months for your vision to improve, not even for the eye to heal, but for your vision to get better. 3 to 6 months, but. Less than a month later, Errol Spence is back saying is out on social media saying he's back. So I don't, that just doesn't, something's wrong. But we'll see how it plays out in the end. What wasting time with the mandatory? Not mandatory, it's mandatory. You forgot the D there, buddy. Mandatory. This is fixed. This is fixed. Undisputed over Trump mandatory. Simple. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it should anyway. Unification are undisputed, but it's not undisputed if you fight Crawford. It's for mandatory. I mean, it's for unification. You'd have to fight Crawford and then fight Ugas, or fight Ugas and then fight Crawford for mandatory. But like I said, and I've said it before, and I'm still going to keep saying it until it actually happens. Spence is not going to fight Crawford, okay? And there's nothing Errol Spence has done to this point to make anyone think that he's willing to fight Crawford. He has done everything else. He has done everything in his power to show us differently. Why is he coming to my fights? I'm going to take the easy route. He's on the other side of the street. 80-20. He hasn't fought anybody. You know what I mean? So all of these excuses that we have heard, is what we have heard. So there's nothing Errol Spence has said that we can think that, the only people have been talking about Errol Spence Crawford fight is Crawford fans and Errol Spence fans. And they've both been talking about this fight differently. Crawford fans want the fight to happen. Errol Spence fans don't want the fight to happen. So this is what's going on. So yeah, so that's where it's at right now. But we don't know what's going to happen with Errol Spence, but we're hearing that he's back. And, the question is going to be, for a lot of people out there, the question is going to be, how can his eye have healed that quick if he had such a serious injury? And was Bernard Hopkins right, in his suspicions? A lot of people are going to wonder about that now that Errol Spence is back already, so fast, so quickly, after we just read what we read about retinal detachment and how serious it is. So, the questions are going to be asked, okay? And, I just thought I'd put that out there. I'm not saying that, he faked the injury because, like I said, it didn't make sense to me that he would do it. But, hey, just because it doesn't make sense to me, that doesn't mean it doesn't make sense to somebody else. And, maybe somebody knows something I don't know. And, so if you do, you can make a comment down there and let me know. what you think about it. Or you can even comment right now if you're listening and let me know. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. But again, Errol Spence is back according to the social media. He's back in full effect and he's ready to go. So, I don't know. But anyway, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Go to tbeboxing.com. Okay. I have some podcasts, on the different podcast platforms as well. So you can listen to my show on the various podcasts, Spotify, Google, Spreaker, all the other different ones. So, you can just go to the website, tbeboxing.com. Okay. Like and subscribe. That's all I have for right now. That's all I'm going to report for right now. This is TBE Boxing.
Got the mind of a man, it's petty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, on the block with the pole, This is the life that I chose, on the block with the pole, That life before riches, That life before riches, Pretty bitch, show me titties, And I got the glaze, you run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.